Aloha. This is lesson 320 from A Course in Miracles with Hope Johnson. My Father gives all power unto me. The Son of God is limitless. There are no limits on his strength, his peace, his joy, nor any attributes his Father gave in his creation. What he wills with his Creator and Redeemer must be done. His holy will can never be denied, because his Father shines upon his mind and lays before it all the strength and love in earth and heaven. I am he to whom all this is given. I am he in whom the power of my Father's will abides. Your will can do all things in me, and then extend to all the world as well through me. There is no limit on your will, and so all power has been given to your Son. This is the last lesson in the set that starts with, what is the final judgment? So this is the truth about God's limitless will. The lesson is, my Father gives all power unto me. And this limitless will of God's is present in us, and it acts through us. When we offer it in service, humility, and the clarity of our remembrance. So being limitless is your birthright. In this lesson, the Son of God is described, and throughout A Course in Miracles, the Son of God is described as without bounds. Everything is given. It's not earned, it's given. Strength, peace, and joy. There's no limit to this. These are the aspects of the created Son of God. This is not a boastful thing. It's a reminder. You were created with limitless and infinite capacity. Any limitation is just a mistaken belief. So the Creator and the creation, this is a theme all throughout A Course in Miracles, share the same will. Your will and the Father's will. They're not opposing forces, which it seems when you're identified as an ego.
Yeah.
Where you align with God, your action is effortless and sure. You're just sure when you're aligned with God. It says what he wills with his Creator must be done. It talks about the Redeemer in there too. That's the Holy Spirit. This points to the absence of any contradiction. When you consent, that's the thing. You have to consent. That's the free will. When you're not consenting to this alignment, you're perceiving that your will is separate, and you're making illusions as if it's true. And you believe your own illusions, even though it's not one bit true. So this kind of power, it's an extension. It's not a possession. This kind of power isn't control over others. This power is our capacity. Each of us has been given capacity in equal measure to serve love, to heal perception, and to extend God's peace. We all have that capacity. Yes.
You know, I'm reading in another book, it talks about our will, and in unconsciousness, we think our will is opposed to spirit, and we're like ashamed to be like, oh, God can't like that part of me, like what I want.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is, God wants to experience everything we want to, what our will has. So our will is joined with spirit.
Yes.
That makes us a complete being. We're not split.
We're not split.
With shame or whatever. We allow all of our parts to go to God.
Right. Well, God's will for us is perfect happiness. Okay. That's another thing that it says in A Course in Miracles all the time. Mm-hmm. And our perfect happiness is, in our ability to forgive truly, the kind of forgiveness that collapses time, that makes real miracles. That's where our real true happiness is. So what it's saying is that's our true will. All other will that we perceive, it's not a true will. It's not that it's not coming from God. Its source is always God. It's just that it gets distorted by belief in separation. And so that will doesn't really exist. Underneath it is still the true will of God.
Do you think our desires and our will are connected?
Yes. Well, see, the desire that we always have, even in eternity, we have the desire for God. It's just that in eternity, there's no separation between desire and fulfillment. So desire is already fulfilled. There's not even any gap there. So in a dream, all desires for things in the dream are just they're like a symbol of that same desire for God. So when we recognize that the desires in the world are really desires for God, we stop striving toward those apparent desires, recognizing that we can't really know what we want, but God knows our heart. So then we're kind of like traveling toward our desires, kind of like a river goes to the ocean. That's a lot of what manifestation kind of people, spiritual people, talk about how you have to be detached from the outcome, and then your desires just manifest with ease. See? And even if you don't know what they want, because it's already known, like your heart is already known, and your heart always wants to go to God. So it's whatever's going to manifest, it's going to be the most beneficial to take you to God, because that's what you want. So the power that's given us, that flows through us outward, it's like ripples through the whole sonship. This power, when we accept the power, it's not to control. Remember, it's to serve, love, and heal perception and extend God's peace. That's the power that's given us. And that's the power that blesses everyone. So this lesson is reorienting our power. It's reorienting us to our awareness of our power from ego-centered aims like status, dominance, scarcity, to own things, to a functional purpose. What will further awakening? That's our will. What is it? We want whatever will further awakening. That's why that's saying, thy will be done, not my will, thy will, which is really the same. And that's what this lesson, as many of them have in A Course in Miracles, gets you to see that your will is actually God's will. So then that verse doesn't make sense, because it's saying thy will, not my will, where, truthfully it would be thy will is my will. Did you have something, Thomas?
Well, when you were talking about power, there's a book by David Hawkins called Power versus Force. And even in the title, you get that power is from God and force is our ego attempts to try to manipulate and push things around.
Right.
And they're not the same.
Yeah. That's right. Yes. It's trying to use a method that doesn't work, a strategy, an ego
works in the
strategy.
world. It works in the world, makes more money, or it gets what they think they want, but they're not happy because force doesn't give the satisfaction.
Yes, and everyone really wants happiness, even if they think they're seeking for status or money or anything. The whole purpose is that it's supposed to make them happier. It's nothing on its own without making you happier. I mean, why would you want it?
It turns out to be pseudo-happiness.
Right.
And it never really hits the mark.
That's it.
Yeah.
So here you're invited to trust as responsibility. Trust that the Father lays before your mind the strength and love required for everything. Right? That's how you take responsibility, by trusting. Yeah. It's like, we think about, like, in the world, there's this idea like you take responsibility for your actions, And truly, the way to take responsibility for your actions is to trust that your actions are exactly perfect for awakening the Son of God.
With trust,
Yeah.
power comes.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't trust, force is all you have.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Wow. Yeah, trusting allows the power of God.
Yes. Trusting is what carries responsibility. You accept trusting, this kind of trusting that's also true responsibility, accepts the means given and to use all the means in service of the whole. You can't accept the means given unless you're willing to see that wherever you are finding yourself, whatever situation, you might be finding yourself face to face with someone who's triggered at you. That is where your true responsibility and your trust comes in. Accepting that this is the means given. This is the role that I'm in right now. And my function is forgiveness as the light of the world, true forgiveness. And this is how we actually use everything in service of the whole. So God's will in me acts without limit, yet I have to accept that power to serve and serve in love for me to actually harness that power and use that power. So, to use this power, you could just use it as a centering breath whenever you feel small, whenever you feel like, oh, this is too much for me. Sometimes circumstances come up and the ego goes, no, 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 no. When you see that, recognize the ego is not you. That voice that's saying that is not you. Take a breath and center in this power, your true command over all illusions. You truly do command all illusions. All illusions are made of love. Under the surface of what you're projecting, they're made of love, and you have command over the particles that everything is made of, including situations, circumstances, body, everything. And the reason why I'm calling it command is because command is loving. That's why you can be in true communication with everything, and everything meets you in love.
So I'm just looking at that our will in the dream state can connect to God's will so easily. Like you're moving onto the road to do your ministry is your will. It's what you want to do. It's like a desire.
Apparently.
And it's being supported because it lines up with God's will.
Yes, it lines up with God's will because in my mind, I'm focused on using all things for the awakening. And that is also my perfect happiness. Because of the way I'm aligned in using things, yes, I'm serving God's will. I can trust, I can relax that everything's going my way. And it's like the ego will always throw out thoughts of complaint, justifying some kind of upset feeling, stuff like that. So because of guarding my mind and being aware of the thoughts that arise, I don't have to get hooked by any thoughts like that, right? I just stay in alignment with God's will, knowing God's will is my perfect happiness. So I could sense little fluctuations in my body's energy field to notice when my mind goes off course and gently come back just by recognizing what thoughts are making me feel this way and bring those thoughts to the truth. So everything just gets seen in the light. So when you start the day, you might start with just sitting quietly for a couple minutes and breathing. Look at this invitation. It's like, what of God's will do I accept now? Notice one small practical way you can offer your attention or action today. Even right now, even sitting in stillness, that's aligning with God's will. Because see, the thoughts that arise most often, especially before you start looking and recognize what's going on in your mind, is the ego's will. And the ego's will is the opposite of happiness. You know by the way that you feel when you're listening to thoughts that are not God's will. See, that's not a matter of fighting with these thoughts because remember, everything comes from God. Even the ego's will does. Even every thought like that, it's like you always have command. So it's like when you recognize, oh, that's a thought that I wouldn't keep. And I have a choice not to keep it right now. I don't have to keep it. Doesn't mean you fight with it. Not keeping it is just a matter of recognizing that it's not a true thought. It's actually not worthy of you. It's a thought that's not worthy of you because it doesn't support your perfect happiness if you accept it as true. If you don't accept it as true, it supports your perfect happiness because then you're laughing at it. You know, your choice with an ego thought, with ego will, is between acceptance, accepting that thought as true, or laughing at it. Really. One leads to happiness, one leads to sorrow. It's really simple. So throughout the day, when you notice this decision coming up, right? Or if you just notice doubt is arising or confusion or anything, just ask yourself, which choice extends healing? Which choice makes me happy? Which choice doesn't go towards separation? Choose that one. And trust that you have the strength to make that choice. And all that could follow that choice is happiness.
And smiling brings it into existence.
Definitely smiling is helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, just the gesture of smiling, it's demonstrating that you're having fun. Right? And if you're not having fun in the face of ego thoughts, you're caught up in it. Right? It's like this whole thing is a tiny mad idea crept into the mind where we forgot to laugh. So this whole thing is ending in laughter. Start now with any stupid ass thought that arises in your consciousness. Take it as a comedy moment. That's what it is. So in the evening, you might notice a moment or more than one moment that you allowed God's will to act through you. Look, it's so simple. A kind word. Restraint when you felt like condemning. Listening. Notice how the power of God felt. Notice that it's not forceful, but it's space-like and peaceful. So power without humility feels like grasping. So notice that. Receive God's power as something that he's offering you to heal, not to claim anything in the world, to help heal the world. When you act from that, you're both a servant and a channel. It's like as an apparent body in the world, you're small in your posture, but you're vast in your effect. So, twice today and every hour and whenever it's necessary, my Father gives all power unto me. And have a beautiful remembrance. I love you.